We are clear. Area secure. I have your back.
A superstar veteran with one of the most illustrious broadcasting careers in esports history. He is known by gamers and fans the world over as Red Eye. In over a decade, he has worked with the biggest game publishers in the world and alongside heavyweights in almost every major tournament. From the Spodek Arena to Madison Square Garden, he has traversed the globe, shoutcasting the World Cyber Games in South Korea a record 6 times, and hosting the Intel Extreme Masters every year since 2012. Most recently, he was host to the largest esports event of all time, the International 5, with a cash prize pool of over $18 million. One of the highest rated commentators and most award-winning hosts in the game. Put your hands together and join us in welcoming him to South Africa, a true esports legend of our time, Paul Challoner.
Wow. How do you follow that? I think I better leave now before I make any more mistakes. What an introduction. Thank you very much. And thank you to everyone here in South Africa for making me feel so warm, especially seeing as the cricket's on. Sorry about that. Just get one in. I suppose I should start by explaining to some of you. I know some of you are very new to esports. and to the competitive world of video gaming. So forgive me if some of you are familiar, and some of you online will, of course, be familiar with our world. But for those who aren't, I want to try and give you a little bit of a flavour of where I come from and what I'm about and what sort of world I live in. The first one is, what is a shoutcaster? It's all right, don't worry, this isn't audience participation time. I see a few worried faces. A shoutcaster is very simple. It's shortened these days to caster, but it could mean broadcaster. It normally means a commentator. It's a bit of an old legacy thing we have from when we used to do internet radio 14 or 15 or 100 years ago, I can't remember, it's been a while, where we went out to 50 people at a time. And of course, things have changed. One of the things, though, that I want to start off with is by showing you a photograph of something that happened in 1980. This is effectively where it all began, back in 1980. Take a look at that. Stop giggling in the back. I know you were there. This is the 1980 Space Invaders World Championship. I bring this up, I love this photograph for many reasons. It's often recognised as the first competitive video game tournament held offline. I'm sure there were plenty more held before that in houses, you know, I'm better at Space Invaders than you are kind of things. But this was the first organised one, complete with state-of-the-art boxes and a crowd. I'm not entirely sure what they were watching. But anyway, this was 36 years ago. We often think now as eSports is a very modern thing, but it's been going a while. It might not have been called eSports, it might not have been the latest technology or whatever, but competitive video gaming has been around for a long time. But I'm thrilled to say that we've moved on from the basement of a hotel to bigger and better things. And these days it's not uncommon to find eSports events around the world and in venues that have been used as arenas or stadiums, and trodden by famous people, musicians, and footballers, rugby stars, cricketers. Sorry about that. And alongside that, we've also had audience rises as well. You know, not just people tuning in and watching, but people turning up in their thousands, tens of thousands sometimes, to witness these eSports events that have taken place around the world over the last few years. So we've come an awful long way from those early days in 1980, and in a very short period of time. If you think about it, only in the last 4 or 5 years will you have heard of eSports in the popular press, mainstream press, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. As these audiences have grown, so too have the TV audiences and the online streaming audiences, and they're now up into their millions. It's regular to see large events in League of Legends, Dota 2, and Counter-Strike receiving millions of concurrent viewers at the same time, all tuned in at the same time. In fact, 14 million, for instance, watching the League of Legends World Championship last year. 14 million people. Let's just think about that for a moment. All watching at the same time someone else play a video game. It's astonishing when you think about it. Context for you, that's more than we get watching rugby for the whole season in Britain, but that may be another reason. See, I'm trying to be fair here. I'm giving you some rugby creds. Audiences of all kinds as well tune in. We've seen people from Russia, from North America, from Europe, from China, from all over the world tuning into these massive events. It doesn't seem to have any borders or boundaries. It's fantastic. And of course, we've also seen a very passionate and interested set of audiences from right here in South Africa as well. They've been tuning in for years. I remember 15 years ago, 25% of my audio listeners were from South Africa, mainly because they were probably the only ones that could understand what the hell I was talking about. But nevertheless, they are here, and they are chomping at the bit for more esports. I've listened to so many passionate people over the last 2 days tell me about esports in South Africa and how they want it to be big, and they want to succeed, and they want to compete internationally. And the viewership is already there. So stereotypes. This is always one that I get asked by people who aren't familiar. I don't want to insult anyone here, but people who aren't familiar with esports often think, yeah, video gamers, they live in their bedroom, right? With a cat. I think that's a cat. And they are kind of averse to some sunlight, and they order pizza online, and they're addicted to video games. I hear this a lot, and actually, sorry, whoever that is out there in the world. It's just an example. It's not real. And I find this quite sad, because actually the truth is esports is nothing like this. Esports players are professionals, like Jordan Gilbert, aka Nothing from Cloud9. Healthy, fit, reasonably good looking. Sorry, Jordan. And out there representing brands and competing in a sporting way alongside his teammate, Sean Garris. These guys get media training. They have dietitians. They have psychologists, motivators, coaches, analysts, strategists, managers of the entire company. Exactly what you would find in a rugby club or a cricket club. Is it getting too much now? Do I need to tone it down? Okay. And these pros compete all over the world. These guys aren't alone. These are just two guys I picked out because I know them and I can take some cheap shots at them. And they won't mind, hopefully. But there are hundreds of players out there competing in esports and in esports teams who have the same level of professionalism out there representing their teams, their brands, and their countries as well. And they're very proud of that. Alongside that, if you're really good, you might even get to feature in the Playboy magazine. With clothes on. Come on, people, please. It's journalism, okay? And also, it's not just the players. It is, as I've already mentioned, the teams. These multi-gaming organisations who are now really starting to understand the leverage that they have with their audiences. Some of them followed by millions of fans all over the world. Fnatic, for example, now having their own range of equipment. Keyboards, mice, headsets, and what have you. And also raising a lot of money via Indiegogo as a crowdfunding item. That's how popular these teams are. And again, professional, out there, understanding media. And we also have personalities. This lovely lady is a colleague of mine. Pleased to say that I've worked with her a number of times over the years. And is the host of the European LCS. And a tremendously talented lady who has 350,000 Twitter followers. Yeah, I can see the dollar signs in some of your eyes lighting up already as you think about how you can sponsor her. She's taken, Riot Games have her. Off limits, sorry guys. Shocks, she's a fantastic person to have in esports and is representing Riot Games at the very highest level. Has 350,000 followers. I follow a couple of football teams in the UK. I'm not going to tell you who because you're going to give me instant grief. And then I'm just going to fire back with cricket. However, it's safe to say that she has more followers than almost any of the players of the team I follow who do participate in the Premier League. That's how popular some of the personalities are in esports. And then there's brands. I think a number of you work for a number of good brands. I've already met a few of you. I'll meet a few of you later. I may have had a few tequilas. I'm sorry now. Just saying. And obviously some of those, you look at them and you'll think, okay, that's obvious, I get it, Intel, yeah, all right, they make computer chips, it's played on computers, makes a lot of sense to me, right? Dell, same kind of thing, Logitech, Razer, and what have you, have all been long-term supporters of esports in various ways. But what about some of the other brands on that? Because every single one of these brands has poured money into esports in the last couple of years. We're talking lots of different genres of brands here as well. Clothing, Next. Nissan, Renault, American Express. I'm sorry, but I'm going to giggle for a bit. American Express! This is a company I worked for like years and years ago. And trust me when I say this, this was, no offense meant here, but over 50 business travelers, That's the kind of, ordinary people that have an American Express charge card. What the hell are they doing sponsoring League of Legends? It's genius, trust me. It is genius, and I'll explain why in a little bit. McDonald's, you could go and buy a McNip burger last year. Ninjas in Pajamas, very successful team. You laugh, but it's true. Hello, could I have a McNip burger and fries, please? Yeah, and that actually is a thing. It's fantastic when you think about it. More recently, the BBC have been featuring eSports live on TV. ESPN just announced ESPN eSports. Turner also starting to broadcast Counter-Strike in North America. Sky Sports also interested. And if that doesn't convince you that eSports is legit, two of the biggest heavyweights on the internet are currently heavily embedded in eSports. Amazon paid almost $1 billion last year for Twitch, the largest streaming platform we have. And Google, they kind of own YouTube. They're kind of a big deal too. So, hello. There's a lot of brands involved, and they're not just from technology. But the biggest question I suppose you might be asking is why? Why have these players all decided eSports is for them? Let's find out. Because it's about numbers. No shock there, perhaps. So let's take a look at a few of them. And I could stand here all night and do this, by the way, but I won't, luckily. I know you're chomping to get to the bar. Millennial demographic. It's been spoken about a little bit tonight with a couple of other people already here. What do I mean by that? 16 to 29-year-olds. Who are these people? And although I'm slightly older than 29, be quiet, Steve. I class myself in this demographic because I'm very similar. I have a very similar brain. And let's face it, most men don't get past 14. True story. They're savvy. They're, tech savvy. They're smart. They're not going to fall for the old advertising routines that were successful on TV 30 years ago. They're just not going to do that. And they're very demanding, actually. We're very demanding as eSports fans and viewers. We basically want to watch what we want, where we want it, on what device we want. Put your phone away, sir. See? It's all right, I was joking. And we want to do it when we want. So we're very demanding. Except that, guess what? eSports delivers exactly that. And that's why they love eSports so much. In fact, so much so that at Gfinity in 2015, we analysed our audience. And 90% of our audience for the year were aged between 16 and 29. 90%. If that gives you an idea as to how young people now are consuming media, it should do. Just as a comparison for you, and I'll do this a little bit as we go through, traditional sports, if only to give you some context to what you know. In the UK, the highest watched sport is football, English Premier League. Only 10% are from the same demographic. So when people are asking, where has our viewership gone? I think we're starting to understand. They're online. And if that doesn't convince you, let's have a look at some viewing figures. 14 million, I mentioned it earlier on. 14 million people watching concurrently. 58 million watching over 6 days at the International 5 last year. 58 million! Over 100 million viewers on Twitch every month. That's like more people than watch EastEnders. By a lot. I'm glad that joke went down in South Africa well. Yeah. Everyone around the world's like, what's EastEnders? Look it up on online. Peggy Mitchell dies, by the way. Is that a spoiler? Oh, I didn't know how far ahead you were, sorry. Peggy Mitchell lives. 60 million hours of coverage for the League of Legends Worlds month alone. And the average viewing time of eSports, roughly speaking, last year we found was about an hour at a time. Compare that to a traditional TV where people are nodding off after 15 minutes. Some big numbers. But it's not all about viewing figures. If that doesn't impress you, what about prize money? Often the measurement of whether something's successful. So let's have some context around this and have some fun. The biggest prize fund in 2015 for an eSports tournament, and this is just one tournament, remember, of hundreds of tournaments, was $18.4 million. $18.4 million. Split between 16 teams of 5 players. The winners received more than $6 million. No, that's not Rand. 6 million US dollars. Let's have some context. That's more than Andy Murray won for winning Wimbledon. It's more than the winners of the NFL Super Bowl will win in 2016. It's more than the winners of the Rugby World Cup. And it's more than the winners of... No, I'm not going to do the cricket joke. All right, what about revenue? Again, another good indicator to a healthy industry. $612 million in revenue in 2015 alone, and 30% growth year on year. Where else do you find that in any other sport in the world? In fact, where do you find that in most industries in the world? We are growing at a rapid rate. More than 1 billion revenue expected by 2017 alone. Incredible. And don't believe me, go and check out a few of the people that are involved in esports at a high level investment-wise. This is Mark Cuban. Hands up, who's heard of Mark Cuban? Fair few of you? Good. He's a man who makes very shrewd investments and recently invested in esports. He's been to an esports tournament, courtesy of the ESL, and has said good things about esports as well. And he's invested money. He's put his mouth where his money is, and he's invested in esports as well. And that's good enough for me. So what about South Africa? You guys are blessed in many ways. You have some very passionate, very talented players and teams that I've met over the last couple of days and seen online in previous tournaments when we've been lucky enough to see South Africans playing on the international stage. But they need support. And they need support from you. They need viewership. They need sponsorship. They need money. They need leagues. And I want to give you something to think about as proud South Africans. Imagine over the next few years, one of the players that you see tonight playing in a team on an international stage with millions of dollars of prize money and a stunning trophy. And one of your own steps up and lifts that trophy in front of thousands of people in an arena. We have a long way to go, but before we get there, these guys do need a league. And I'm pleased to say that that's where our friends from Telkom come in. Because tonight, you're going to learn about something very exciting for South Africa. I honestly can't believe how lucky you guys are to have something as exciting and cool as this happening right here. You're going to hear from a number of different people, and they're going to explain exactly what's going to happen at the Telkom DGL Masters. It's going to be a terrific year for you. I'm really looking forward to it. And if I can say one thing in summary, as we move on, you'll be pleased to hear. And I shall shut up for a little while. What a great crowd. I'm definitely coming back. If I can leave you with one final thing, it's this. The international esports scene needs South Africa as part of it. And South Africa needs to be part of the international scene. Thank you very much. So, we have a number of announcements for you this evening as well. And I'm pleased to say that we've got a number of the executives from Telkom to tell you more about it.
The Digital Gaming Championship is the largest esports LAN in the country.
Because of the size of our network as Telkom, because of the speed that we deliver, because of the interoperability of the system, the flexibility of the system, Telkom is the natural deliverer of the ultimate gaming experience in South Africa.
When it comes to product development, it is important to understand the customer's needs. And as Telkom, we will ensure that we collaborate with the online gamers to create solutions that gives them an uninterrupted experience.
We're excited to announce that the new league software will enable more gamers to participate in the year-long league.
Our desire is to grow gaming as a sport.
The announcement of the Masters, where we will formalize esports, have top 8 clans participating, and we will help them build their brand equity, turn into household names while they participate.
We will continue to grow the game and develop local talent.
We need partners in various categories. So we would like to invite all like-minded partners out there in the room today and out there in the market to be able to partner with us.
We have been honored to be part of this from the beginning and are looking forward to taking this to the next level.
So, the start of some great news for South African esports. We've got more on the way, of course. But first, let me introduce you a very special man, a man who has a vision for esports here in South Africa, and he's going to put his money where his mouth is. Please welcome the Chief Marketing Officer from Telkom, Mr. Enzo Scarcella.
So, good evening, everybody. You know, when I come to events like this and I listen to people like Paul, it kind of reinforces the fact that I'm a digital immigrant and not a digital native. And I was thinking on my way here that if Donald Trump was the president of the digital universe, I wouldn't be allowed in. So, yeah. Apologies to the Republicans in the audience. So I mean, for me, there were 3 seminal moments in understanding what Paul put up there. So I've been at Telkom for about 2 years. So the first thing is, as a parent, my kids are there. As a parent, you kind of vicariously live your youth through your kids. And so what I've increasingly seen with my son and my daughter is how, for them, the gaming universe is real. For me, it's always been a place like movies where you go to escape. I think when my son plays FIFA, his selection, his interaction with the game is really real. Now, his ambition is to play for Real Madrid. And when I saw the $6 million that Paul put up, Matteo, if you don't play for Real Madrid, you can be a professional gamer. And you'll still get the girls. So that's the first thing. We've also done, you may have seen the campaign we do on TV, where we have animated babies. Now, the animation company that does that work for us does quite a bit of work on the Oculus Rift and virtual reality. So I was in their studios a few months ago, and I put on this headset. And like the first time I touched an iPhone, that was a moment for me when kind of the world changed for me. And I realized that actually digital and reality are increasingly the same thing. So that was the second moment. The third one was, I started at Telkom 2 years ago, 6 or 7 months into starting. I was asked to sign off a very kind of big invoice for Rage sponsorship. And the first thing I said is, hold on. This is like, there are a few pimply teenagers in Lonely who play this. How come we're spending so much money on this? So I said, there's no way we're sponsoring this. And the guy said, listen, we're committed, da, da, da. So I said, listen, please give me a ticket. I'm going there to see kind of whether we're wasting our money or not. And I think it was Rage 2014 was, again, for me, just a mind-blowing experience. I got in there and I realized, actually, this is as big as anything outside of the tier 1 sports in South Africa. So the Monday I got back and I said to the guys, why aren't we investing any more in eSports? So, you know, so I think those 3 kind of data points have kind of made me an evangelist. So I just want to talk about why Telkom is getting involved. I mean, I think for us, simply because online gaming is growing, if you look at in the US, after Netflix and YouTube, online gaming is the biggest consumer of data. So it's a no-brainer for a telco to get involved. I mean, our network, we currently have about 1 million ADSL users, but a big part of what we're doing as a business, as we try to transform the business into a new era, is investing in fiber technology. So we currently have 50,000 homes with access to fiber. Our ambition at the end of this year is to get to 100,000, and in the next 5 years, 1 million homes. And I think that for online viewing and online gaming will create an amazing experience. What you may have read on my broadband today, we're also introducing new network diagnostic tools that are increasing sync speeds by up to 25%. And again, that creates a better viewing experience and a much better gaming experience. So I think as a network provider, we really have all of the infrastructure to be the best supporter of gaming in South Africa. In addition to that, we also have 149,000 kilometers of fiber as backhaul. Our nearest competitor, which I think is Dark Fiber Africa, has about 25,000 kilometers of fiber. So that's network. Obviously, the race for both, as we see broadcast companies and telcos combine, the race is on to say who's going to own the home, right? And ultimately, if you want to be the dominant player in the home, you've got to supply TV and you've got to supply gaming. Those are the 2 biggest consumers of bandwidth, and if you're supplying fiber, you've got to supply that bandwidth. And we have no doubt that a great gaming experience on the internet will really kind of grow bandwidth consumption in the home, along with kind of IPTV. So again, that's fertile territory. I think the TV multi-choice business is worth 40 billion rand, and we think kind of gaming can go north of that in the years to come. So that's kind of in South Africa. We're coming off a low base, but the potential is enormous. And what Paul has demonstrated there is just the enormity of esports and gaming. So let's kind of get, the nub of the green is this. We've been prevaricating about this, and now we're at the point where we're saying we want to really be at the forefront, and we're looking for partners to come along with us, but to really professionalize esport in South Africa, because we think the time is right for it. There's enough bandwidth, there's enough stable bandwidth, and enough bandwidth to have a great gaming experience to really professionalize esports. So we think that there are 3 fronts on which we will improve with the new league. The first is we have servers and new software which allow for a much better gaming experience. And we're looking for this to really kind of broaden the base. So we have probably about 6,000 online gamers at the moment in South Africa on the DGL League. We'd like to broaden that to get to north of 100,000. Because then you start getting the scale that goes into the mainstream. So we think new gaming software in our servers and our network will allow us to do that. There's a new website that allows casual gamers. So if you have a league at work or at school, you can log onto the website and actually have a really great casual gaming experience. The next level up from that, so you'll see casual gamers at the bottom. The next level up from that is kind of the Do Gaming League. And that runs all year, and we're investing quite a significant amount of money in making the experience better, the administration better, and for that to be a better league. And then the pinnacle of all of this, and our ambition really truly is to create a broadcast experience that's on par with Dota, that'll be broadcast on South African TV and on the internet, that really is the Masters Series. And the Masters Series will be let me see, I think I've got my slide sequence wrong. So the Master Series will be broadcast live on the internet and broadcast probably on SuperSport, and that kind of will be the pinnacle. And And that's what we hear about tonight, is really to kind of launch the Masters. And for us, the first gambit we're making in this is to say, actually, how do we put it into just near kind of the top tier of sports? We have soccer, rugby, and cricket in South Africa. And Paul, by the way, a Super Rugby match in South Africa, the biggest Super Rugby match would be between the Bulls and the Stormers. The TV viewership on Super Sport is about 900,000. There is no reason in South Africa with a Telkom Masters, with a broadcast experience and 1 million rand of prize money, we can't start getting to those levels. So that's really in a nutshell, and I think this is probably the most exciting bit, is to say now we're getting to 7 figures prize money. So really, in a nutshell, there are 3 things, right? Better network, better service, better quality of experience, better administered league, and then 1 million rand prize money for the Masters Series, which will take place in October. And from Telkom's point of view, we're really excited to be a part of this, and we're really excited to grow this sport with all of the gaming community. So thanks very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Enzo, how are you doing? That was very good. Thank you very much. I just want to have a very quick word with you. Yep. The cricket. What? Come on, we don't get often to, you know, to brag about. It's not gone well, Enzo.
Hey?
It's not gone well, has it?
For England.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, big round of applause for Enzo. Thank you so much. Also, I want to clear up something as well, because I know, as I said earlier on, there's a number of new people here. So we've talked about clans and teams and stuff. So just for clarity, MGOs, what does it mean? Multi-gaming organisations. You're going to hear a little bit more about that, and you're going to hear more about that in just a few minutes' time. Hold on to your seats, ladies and gents.
Well done.
In war, I am the architect of my destiny. In war, I am the instrument of my fate. I am precise. I am driven. I am a fanatic. In war, I am neither your neighbor nor your friend. I am your ally, or I am your enemy. And once the trenches have been filled, the fog has cleared, and the rumble of warfare has turned to whispers. I will be here, risen above the rest. And you will know me by my rightful name, for I shall be victorious.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 8 teams of the 2016 Telkom DGL Masters. And let's find out more about them.
Formed at the end of 2013, they took first place in Battlefield in the 2014 DGC and secured their place in the DGL Premier Division. they have both demolished their rivals in the gaming arena and empowered new and inexperienced teams in the local gaming community. They are resolute, focused, formidable. This is clan leader Tians Alpha Renji Low, and they are Aperture Gaming. As a team in Counter-Strike Global Offensive, they claimed their first Telkom Digital Gaming Championship in 2013, their second in 2014, and held the title for their third consecutive year in 2015, a record 5th time in their history. The success of their Counter-Strike division is unparalleled locally, with leading teams in Call of Duty, Battlefield, and Dota 2. This is clan leader Andreas Sent Haji Pascali, and they are Bravado Gaming. To fortify their place in history, clan leader is Daniel Spoof van Veek, represented tonight by Mo Lawrence James, and they are Carbon eSports. Rising to prominence in Counter-Strike 1.6, they competed at the 2002 WCG in South Korea, as well as the ESWC and Code 5 in France and Russia, respectively. On home soil, they took first place at the 2011 DGC and proved their potency in Battlefield and Dota 2. Victors, contenders, masters of war. This is clan leader Alistair Lag Beast Bowman, and they are Damage Control. With the inclusion of their Dota 2 division into the DGL Premier League in 2013, the gauntlet was thrown down, with their Counter-Strike Global Offensive finishing as runner-ups in the Telkom Gaming Championships in 2014, and Dota 2 achieving 4th in the same year. A clan with multi-tiered objectives and the talent to back it up. This is clan leader Anthony Sky Chief Nell, and they are Infinity Gaming. As individual competitors in StarCraft 2, they attended the DreamHack Open in Romania and took first place in the Telkom DGC in StarCraft 2 in 2014. In Dota 2 and Counter-Strike, they reached the DGL Premier Division in only a year. A tactical unit of total precision and boundless ambition. This is clan leader Alex Zaxus van der Merwe, and they are Veneration eSports. Since their competitive start in 2012, in StarCraft 2 and Dota 2, they've upped the ante and charged through all challenges, with successful divisions in League of Legends, Hearthstone, and Heroes of the Storm. Their vision? To be a top 3 competitive clan in all titles, while continuing to reshape the landscape of local gaming. This is clan leader Alvain Switch Fenter, and they are White Rabbit Gaming. Created to conquer Quake, they expanded into Counter-Strike 1.6, taking first place at the 2001 Regional WCG to attend the main event in Seoul, Korea. They have evolved into a clan force to be reckoned with, have featured regularly in the DGL, and built successful divisions in Dota 2, Call of Duty, and Battlefield. In the end, they are here for one reason, and one reason only: to be the last clan standing. This is clan leader Mark Manimal Gazzard, and they are experts at Total Chaos.
So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Please give it up for your 8 teams. And there's more good news for South African eSports, as if you needed more. Fantastic news so far, but there is more. Let's find out what these teams will be competing for in 2016.
From the DGL, the multi-division training ground from which master clans and players will emerge, all the while crafting their skills to ruthless perfection. To the DGL Open, where the gaming world's rookies, hopefuls, and future champs will climb the ranks, hone their skills, and learn to operate as an efficient unit. Every step will culminate in the ultimate event, the Masters Tournament at Rage 2016. Brace yourself for a war unlike any other, where infamy will await the fallen, glory the victorious, and where legends will be made. Behold, the Telkom Digital Gaming League. 1 million rand prize money. Game face-off.
So there we go. The Telkom DGL Masters for 2016 would not be complete without a superb trophy. And I can tell you, it's very heavy as well. You guys should hold on to that. Just don't get too comfy with it. You've got to fight for that just yet. Okay. I'm just going to wrap up. For those of you who've tuned in online, thank you very much. You've tuned into an event that's been going on. So if I haven't addressed you at home via the camera, you know why. I just want to do a few things as well, announcements for those of you that have joined us here. There's still plenty more for you to do. That is the end of the announcement itself, but we're going to be out there mingling amongst you. Come and grab us, ply us with drinks if need be. Just saying that now. And we will talk about esports until you're tired of us, basically. But also make sure you check out the player booths, which are just down to the left-hand side of me, where the players will be in there playing some Counter-Strike. You can go and play in there as well and check out exactly what it's like to be in a professional booth. Also, don't forget to use the hashtag, let's get this right, TelkomDGL, right? And you'll need that, trust me, because we're all going to do selfies with the photo in a little bit. So why don't you all come down? That's it, come on. This is the participation time. Come on, come down. Come down and join us at the front here, and we'll all come down in a minute with the trophy, and we'll get selfies. Look at this. Oh, all right, then we'll all come up on the stage. That's fine, too. Don't forget, plenty more to come, as I said. Thank you very much to all the teams, and well done.
Once upon a younger year, when all our shadows disappeared, the animals inside came out to play. Went face to face with all our fears, learned our lessons through the tears, made memories we knew would never fade. He said one day you'll leave this world behind, so live a life you will